The BFM Breakfast Grill. Top interviews you can't afford to miss. Presented by the CIMB Group.
Good morning, I'm Melissa Idris, and joining me on the Breakfast Grill this morning is Dr. Mazalan Kamis, the CEO of Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, or the Malaysian Innovation Foundation. If you have any questions for him, you can text them to 016-2019,000 or tweet us at BFM Radio. Dr. Mazalan, thanks for joining us this morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Grill.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Okay, so Yayasan Inovasi, or YIM for short, is one of the many agencies that's driving and promoting innovations. So under the PM's office, under MOSTI, we've got we've got Unique, we've got AIM, Genovasi, and then even the Malaysian Design Council, which also does something similar. What's the difference between all these different bodies?
Okay, let me start about how we get into being, developed. Actually, we are an entity under MOSTI, Malaysian, the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, and with a specific focus to mainstream innovation among the grassroots. We're talking about here the rural people, children, youth, students at higher institution of learning. So the focus is so much on to the people rather than industries and SMEs. And I would say that the more people talk about innovation, the more agencies, the more institution focus their work on innovation, the better for the nation, because we need every level of society to really make innovation as part of their culture.
Well, the more, you're right, the more the better, but still, with so many different bodies, agencies and ministries, how do we know there's no overlap? I mean, these are taxpayers' money that's funding the programs.
Sure. There's various agencies are doing mostly on the institutional level. Very few or hardly any that does to the people. Okay, so when we look at the gap there, the government see that there's a need for us to make sure that everyone is involved in innovation. Okay. So that is why the mandate for us to work with the grassroots, and our focus is really, as of now, really going to the rural areas and to all nooks and crooks of the nation, and bringing that to the fore, such that the product or whatever that they produce there can be lifted and hopefully commercialized.
Okay, so just let me get this right. So bodies like Unique and AIM, they focus on the industrial, on the R&D in the industries.
Exactly.
And then you focus on the masses.
The masses, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
What about, like you said, you're trying to bring it down to the masses. I'm just going to quote from your website. So, to promote and inculcate creativity and innovation amongst Malaysian citizens, targeting children, youth, women, rural folk, and people with disabilities and NGOs. That seems like a tall order to me. What is that process like? How do you mainstream innovation?
That's right. It's a huge task, actually. And that is why, moving forward, we are going to get innovation through our network, really. It's through collaboration. Because YIM itself is a pretty small organization. It's like a 15, 16 person organization in doing work for the whole nation. So as it is now, we work closely with several institutions at the state level, but that is not enough. So in our work, we call it Jejak Inovasi. Jejak is in English. You go around and try to find where the innovation is, and then we depend a lot on input from the people. People tell us they heard that someone is doing something in that particular kampung, probably solving their agricultural problem or whatever. So what we do is that we have experts that we gather from various institutions, whether it's MOSTI or outside of MOSTI, to come with us and try to verify those product or whatever that they come up with, and then try to advise us whether this is worthy of bringing to the next level. So really, it's a tall order indeed. You have to touch every level of society, going to different groups. But as of the way we do things now, you have to go through networks. So we are actively building our networks through institution of higher learning, through a lot of training institution, the NGOs, other institution right in the states, and even the kampung level. You know, we have the penghulu. We have to work with them. So really, this network is crucial to us. We're going to go big beyond this by bringing innovation through these networks.
So how do you do that with just 15 people on your staff?
That is why currently we're moving from legwork more to brain work, and from on-site more to online.
What do you mean by that?
As of now, when I say jejak inovasi, you really go out there. You know, we send our team, 1 or 2, 3 people, to work with, say, the penghulu at a certain place to try to find this. And of course, we will be helped by other NGOs around that area, and actually go around. But of course, there's so much that you can do. But even then, up till now, we have uncovered nearly 300 products that the kampung people has, you know.
So give me an example of these 300 products. Can you share with us what kind of innovations have you seen at the grassroots level?
All right. You know, in Sarawak, for example, they come out with, I don't know, ikan terubo. You know, ikan terubo is very hard for you to eat because of lots of bones. But this guy came up with ways of cooking whereby you can eat everything, including the bones. It's like sardine, really, you know. So we were like, wow, how do you do that?
But
you know,
he steams it.
No, not really. Even if you steam it, you will still have bones in it. So that's one. And there's one chap in Johor, for example, came up with ways on how to do weeding underneath pineapple plants, you know, which is very difficult. It's all the thorns. So some are very in the mechanical aspect of innovation, some really in the food product, some in the creative craft thing. So I think those products, if we have you know, ways of helping to add values to it, have experts tell us, you know, advise us on how to go about doing it, and find funding or find interested parties to commercialize it, so that, you know, a benefit will go to these people.
Okay, so you match these innovations with funders. So do you
That is also part of our work. We don't provide grants, but we know there are bodies that provide grants. You know, for these people, as much we say that there are, you know, 10 grants, 10 agencies, but these are kampung folks. You know, the fact is that you know, filling out forms is scary to them. So we help them all along the way.
Okay, so just flesh it out first. Being kampung folk, how do you explain a concept like innovation, or how do you explain the fact that you are trying to promote or cultivate innovation to them?
Yeah. That is something that we've learned along the way, actually. You know, one way, because we actually model after what's happening in India, how they move into the rural areas, and really actually making noise along the way. So we actually have 4 or 5 cars going into the kampung with riders, you know, like making noise so that people know there's something going on there. And we show to these people that, hey, this is something worthwhile. You don't think that this is just, you know, a hobby or nothing that can come out of this. So we really have to understand the lingos and how to go about doing it. You know, we cannot be speaking like we are now. So in Sarawak, you have to have Sarawakian to help you to really make sure that these people understand. Even in Malacca, my hometown, you know, I have to have someone helping me to explain to these people, and, you know, interviewing them, understanding them. And our next step is, now we are working with university, try to understand these people, try to go further, so that we can really profile them and understand them better, so that we can approach them better.
I'm speaking to Dr. Mazalan Kamis, the CEO of the Malaysian Innovation Foundation. So YIM is targeting to promote a culture of innovation among the youth as well. But our education system, is it really conducive for cultivating creative and critical thinking? We'll get Dr. Mazalan's thoughts on that in just a few minutes.
Catch Tiger Woods in action with Ricky Fowler, Jason Duffner and Nick Watney at the CIMB Classic 2012 from 25th to 28th October at the Mines Resort and Golf Club. For details, visit cimbclassic.com.
How much? By when? For whom? Why? How so? How come? We'll get you the full story on The Breakfast Grill, weekdays at 8 a.m. on BFM 89.9, brought to you by the CIMB Group, harnessing the diversity of ASEAN for you.
Blueprint for Managers, BFM 89.9.
Good morning. If you've just joined us, I'm Melissa Idris, and with me this morning on The Breakfast Grill is Dr. Mazalan Kamis, CEO of the Malaysian Innovation Foundation, or Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, YIM for short. Dr. Mazalan, before this we were talking about some of the grassroots innovations. Before we dive into the education sector, just tell us, how many of these innovations have actually gone to market or been commercialized?
We started our work really in March of this year. We are just at the stage of menjejaki, going looking for the products. And as of now, we have 315 products that we have identified. And out of that, about around 35 or so that has been identified as of value that needs some work on it. And we have around 5 that will go into incubation. And hopefully after that we'll be able to commercialize, because it's very new in terms of our work. And in November, inshallah, as part of our work in World Innovation Forum in Kuala Lumpur, we will bring in some of this product and has a market open day, so that industry people can view it and probably have some interest over some of the products.
Okay, so you said that you just started work on March this year.
Yes.
But YIM was established back in 2008. So
yes.
what have you been doing
March,
the past 4
2000
years?
and in November, in 2008 it was established. In 2010 it was a one-man organization. So actually it's only activated in 2010, and then the first CEO left in early this year.
So
and
you just joined
in
August,
joined in,
right?
yes.
But so how would YIM measure track its progress? What's YIM's KPI? Is it how many innovations go to market?
You see, YIM's role is very broad indeed. From the ideation, how do you bring out these ideas and all the ways to the commercialization. That is why we work with various levels of the society. So our KPI is how many we track and how many will help to move to commercialization indeed. So that's why we're working hard with our partners. At the moment, a few with universities under incubation. We'll try to make sure that at least 2-3 will be able to be commercialized. But patent is also an issue here, because a lot of people don't understand about this, especially the rural folk. So that is another long way of doing it. Another way of us putting this on the market is that we have on the pipeline, because the rural folks, once you have visited them, there's expectation that something is going to happen. So to us, what we're going to do is that we plan to develop an online marketplace for this product actually. So let's say you have something and we've viewed it, and we will put it online together with your storyline. We want to appeal to the emotion of people so that they buy straight. So if you were to follow the straight cut way of from one phase to the next, it'd be very, very long indeed. But a lot of people nowadays, they produce something, they put online, and people who is interested and is going to buy.
Is this the My Ideas program?
It's along that line. But we refine it. It's more towards commercializing this directly.
Because I'm wondering about the My Ideas program. You've got something for the rural folk, right? And this is where rural folk go online and post their ideas up. But if you're in the kampong, you don't necessarily have access to internet or the computer, or know even how to log on.
Exactly. It's my idea is actually to help the online community, to help these people, you know, to showcase their innovation. But this one is more like I've already identified them. So we have our own personnel that will photograph those products and hopefully put it online together with their storyline. I think because there's a way of people, buying this product because of the story that these people has. Because, you know, you have a mother of 5, for example, you know, a single mother of 5 coming up with something that will help her lead her own life, and suddenly it can be shared with other people. So those story is very important. You know,
humanizing it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the education system, because whenever we talk about innovation, what always comes to mind is the fact that why don't we just incorporate it into our education curriculum? So, but in Malaysia, the current system, the way it's run is schools are run like factory. So there's too much bias towards rote learning, rigid teaching methods. There's a lot of pressure on performing well in exams. So how can we expect our children to be creative and innovative and think laterally if this is the current structure of the education system?
Well, I share whatever that you said just now, and I think a lot more people of this share the same view. I'm an educationist at heart, so education is very much dear to me. I'm very passionate about education, but we know that an external body to the education ministry, you cannot really touch what is there's a boundary issue here. So, but our focus is still children. So there's way that the way we do with helping to overcome this. Our approach is to cater for out of school programs, schools club and things like that. So as of now, we are running the so-called nationwide Kids Invent. Kids Invent is a program whereby we go to every state, and the Jabatan Pendidikan send us students, mostly from we select students from poor families to take part in a one-day event whereby they get immersed in creativity and innovation, and at the end of the day they get excited over what they do, and that give them an idea that hey, I can do something and I can be
immersed
different.
in creativity and innovation.
Yes.
In what way? We
have like 6 to 10 activities throughout the day. There's facilitators, there are in a group of 10 from different schools getting together with different races, and there are many activities there, and they're given certain tools so that they come up with something, basically pushing them to force their thinking, and then use their thinking to come up with many ideas, and after that try to extract that into a product out of very simple thing that they have in mind. For example, cardboard, straws and things like that. We've so far reached nearly 5,000 kids nationwide, and they're all mostly from rural areas. And in that one day event, we select the 3 with most creative and innovative capability. We're bringing them to KL also in November, so that they participate in a bigger event for KL Kids Invent. But moving forward, we realize that that's not enough. Yeah. It's only 5,000. You have
exactly, and it feels very surface, very superficial. So they come one day, do extracurricular activities. Is it really nurturing a culture of innovation within them?
The fact is that together with them, there are also teachers that is involved. So we as I said, it's a boundary issue. You cannot really jump into it. But hopefully they will bring this story back to their schools and back to their families as well. But moving forward, we are thinking of, in the pipeline also, we come up with a innovation pack, whereby school can actually do it as part of their co-curricular activities, because you cannot really go into school and do this. All right, so that's.
Dr. Mazalan, do you feel like these boundaries that you speak of limit YIM's ability to actually fulfill its mandate?
Well, we try to maneuver and try to get in as much as possible.
Well, do you personally feel that we should actually have some of these creative thinking skills or these critical thinking skills embedded into our education system?
To be frank, it is already there in terms of its curriculum, in terms of the write-up, in terms of blueprint. You know, I remember I was in education for several years. You know, we've talked about this. You know, we have workshop. You know, but what happened in the classroom is what matters. The interaction between teachers and the students is what matters. And if you don't have creative teachers, innovative teachers, still you can have a beautiful blueprint. You know,
and it won't be implemented.
Exactly.
So are you also targeting teachers as well as part of this? So you bring the teachers along as part of the one-day...
exactly, and we're also engaging teachers to be part of our volunteer groups, you know, so that they are part of the process. And we're also bringing them to our forum, World Innovation Forum, made about 300 of them, to be talking about school 21st century learning, so that they will be exposed. But you know what? I think I share all the sentiments that we have around education. We need to really uplift our teachers so that they know that they have a big role to play in making sure that the nation, transform to the next level.
Well, I was reading some of the excerpts written by an expert on innovation, Dr. John Kao, who wrote the bestseller Innovation Nation. And he said one of the challenges in making talent, not only in the education system, but it's also marketing innovation and innovation educating of our young people. So how do you make innovation accessible and sort of sexy to the younger crowd?
I think we have to understand the entire process of innovation. You know, you can see that, you know, the first world, for example, those ecosystem is there. You know, that you must have the culture of not afraid of failure,
questioning
taking
things.
risk, you know, all part of it. Do we have that in our education system? We probably do, but it's not pervasive enough. You know, for example, cherishing failure. You know the light bulb, the story of the light bulb. After 1,000 experiments, and you have the light bulb. So failure after failure, you learn from failure. But is that very pervasive in our system? Even in the case of bankruptcy, for example. In Malaysia, if you're a bankrupt, then you're a goner. You know, nobody cares about you. But in the first world, you have to learn from that bankruptcy and move forward. So I think that is also our struggle. You know, we want to make sure that there's an ecosystem for innovation, and hence, you know, the masses will will be part of the culture of the masses.
Okay. Well, we're almost running out of time, but I wanted to get some of your input on funding. So you get government funding under MOSTI, right? But there's also, I noticed on your website page, there's a page to raise funds from corporates and individuals. So there's things like corporate benefactors. So these, where does this money go? What do you use the money for?
Okay, we don't have a specific allocation because it's a non-profit entity set up by MOSTI. We were given seed funding just to pull through, and in order for us to do our program, we need support from private sectors. So all our programs, of course, you know, is actually an input from support from private sectors. But if there's a specific program that MOSTI wants to run, then we'll get them to pay us, to run those programs.
And my last question to you, Dr. Mazalan. Now, you've only recently been appointed the new CEO of YIM. It was back in August. So what would you have liked to achieve when it comes time to mark your 100 days in office?
This is a great question. What I would like to see is that industries come together and support us, not as part of CSR, but really as they feel that it's their responsibility. I was in United States for several years. So, you know, in Rochester, for example, Kodak is responsible in terms of developing the entire gamut of development in that area. So I would like to see industry come and join us at YIM, support us, and feel that it's their responsibility to get the masses to move to the next level. It's not just the government, you know, because we are actually supplying these people for the industry. So I would like to see more involvement of industry beyond CSR.
I've been speaking to Dr. Mazalan Kamis, CEO of the Malaysian Innovation Foundation, or Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, YIM for short. Dr. Mazalan, all the best with your initiatives, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
I'm Melissa Idris for BFM 89.9, the business station.
The BFM Breakfast Grill was brought to you by the CIMB Group, harnessing the diversity of ASEAN for you.